Hello world, this is Shruti Pandey, and today I have another great guest with me who is Lewis Prescott. Thank you so much, Lewis. It's so good to see you, meet you, and finally have you here on the podcast. How have you been?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me.
That's not a problem. And before we kick into the questions, do you have something for me or for us, or should we just dive into the questions?
I think let's just dive in.
Okay, awesome. Straight to the cut to the chase.
Yeah.
I love the tester's attitude, and I feel the same. So, okay, I have three questions for you.
hmm
You have seen my format, and my first
hmm
question for you is, and before I get into the questions, I'll just tell you at least the first two questions that I've created for you are very much, in some similarities that I see between you and I is how I've created this question. In case you feel
hmm
that I'm putting you in the spot, you can let me know. All
Sure
right.
thing. Sure.
Okay.
No worries.
So my first question for you is, you have a degree in psychology. I looked up your
hmm
profile. So if
hmm
you have a degree in psychology, how does that help you in testing?
Yeah. So I guess the short answer is it doesn't. But that's purely on the surface of it. So I think from what I studied in my degree, there's not necessarily things that I think about and I directly apply to my software testing, but it's the team-based aspects that I think I really have used in my day-to-day. Working in agile teams, communication is so key and the dynamics of the teams is so key. And so in psychology, we talk about biases, inner group biases, outer group biases, and yeah, how that affects the team. So you've got things like Zimbardo's prison experiment and stuff like that. So it's when you are inside the team, you then negatively perceive people outside the team, right? Because you are contained within your dynamics and your perceptions of others changes. And it's just a natural human thing that we like to perceive ourselves above others, right? So it's just a natural phenomenon, but that happens all the time inside teams. You have that common perception as well between developers and testers, right? That they are against each other. But ultimately, that's where I think my psychology degree really comes in and yeah, shows how I can apply that theory to my context.
I mean, I can't emphasize the importance of psychology, and I hope, someday on this planet Earth, we would have it like a basic or an introduction subject for everybody to
Mm,
understand, because ultimately, all of us are humans. The only thing that is going to work for us is communication skills and
mm,
skills, and it's going to be required so much. So, thank you so much for so beautifully consolidating that answer for us, Shruti.
no worries.
And I have my second question for you, which is,
hmm
uh, and correct me if I'm getting this place wrong. I saw that you've worked at a place for cancer research in
hmm
your journey and your career.
Correct.
So when you worked at this place, what did you learn from there?
Yeah, so I worked for a charity in the UK called Cancer Research UK. We also partner with other cancer charities around the world. Um, but the primary purpose of this charity is to prevent and reduce the amount of people that get cancer, right? And also help people survive from cancer once they've got it. So in the UK, the stats are 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their lifetime, which is crazy, right? Like 20 years ago, it was like 1 in 4, but that's probably just purely because of not having the technology to be able to understand who has got it. Um, so yeah, I worked for them, and the mission is amazing, right? Because everyone knows someone that has gone through cancer. And so you can personally touch many people by these campaigns. So one specific project that I worked on was working with a big drug company who have delivered one of the COVID vaccines. I'm not going to mention the name, but you can get the gist. So we were working with them around a technology which allows them to identify DNA sequences and then apply that to the research that they're doing. So we were building the infrastructure for that, and then the drug company were doing all the analysis and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really interesting project, and I got involved in a lot more of the kind of infrastructure stuff. So infrastructure as code, building the pipelines to be fully automated, and yeah, basically working with large data sets, which was really cool. And yeah, so I learned a lot around that, and also I learned a lot about how you work with such a defined set of data, which is amazing.
I mean, while you gave the stats in your part of the world, if you know about India or if you don't, so there are a couple of states in the northern part of our country where due to excessive use of fertilizers or pesticides or, toxic things or waste seeping water, that is one of the identified reasons for cancer which is happening in the northern side of the country. But that doesn't mean that it can't affect the rest of the country, because all of us are linked. And we have, trains which are actually called as cancer trains, because people from there come to Mumbai just for treatment. And I got to understand, or, cancer is a very, very scary topic. It's like one of the untouchable topics. You would not want to dread into that. But 2017 is the time when my mother was first diagnosed with it. And since last year, she's undergoing a cancer recurrence. And I'm no expert, but I think it is something we should be aware of. We should understand, because I think thanks to all the human advancement that we have done, cancer is just a disease which has become like one of the byproducts of all the advancement. And after the pandemic, I've started to see more people, younger people, also getting disease. And again, thank you so much for sharing your answers. And I understand the confidentiality aspects and stuff, but thank you so much for that answer. My final question for you is, I want to understand, what's your style of leading your testing teams?
Yeah, so this is a really difficult question to answer because it's definitely changed. So I've been QA lead at my current role at Cera for about a year now. And so it's a startup space, it's fast moving, it's like, priorities changing all the time. And so to work in that environment and lead in that environment is very, very challenging. So initially when I started, I literally left my QAs up to do what they wanted. So I hired my team and I was just like, okay, you look after your teams. I'm just here to advise or offer assistance wherever you need. So like they would come to me rather than me going to them.
Awesome.
Right. But then things have kind of changed a little bit. So I do offer more of a kind of hands-on direct approach, but very much on a high level. So I kind of put out these directions that I want the team to go in, and then I kind of leave it up to them to work out the why, work out the how, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm still kind of leaving it up to them, but there are things that I need them to get done. And so, yeah, by offering that just high level, I'm hoping that they'll kind of take the initiative themselves. And I think by working out the why you're doing something, I think that gives them much more sense of achievement once they've achieved it. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway.
Oh, I mean, seriously, all the three answers that you've given are such beautifully condensed and articulated and said. And I'll give you a personal reference, because before getting into solutions engineering that I've been doing with, companies selling testing products for the past 3 years.
Mhm.
I was a QA lead myself back in 2018-19 that time. And I
Mhm.
understand what, once you get that title, it
Yeah.
becomes even more dicey for us. And I don't know for other roles. And I think it might be similar for them as well. I mean, I don't understand why you call us leads when we're already being like, the managers and leaders. And
Yeah.
I sometimes feel we should be given the title already and just, skip that
For
middle
sure.
level thing, which is like redundant, at least in this
Mm.
century. But thank you. Thank you for doing that hard job. I understand how difficult it could get. I was managing a team of about 7, 8 men and
Mm.
boys, me being the
Mm.
only female. And we used to have
Uh-huh.
that mix of permanent employees and vendors. I think you would get it, right?
Yeah.
In testing, we have all those dynamics as well.
Mhm.
Plus, our ironically, the rivalry between the development team. And if you're a
Yeah. Yeah.
lead, you're supposed to be at the
Yeah.
front even more if you weren't before. So I
Mhm.
understand. It's not an easy life for a tester. And thank you for answering all those questions so beautifully, emphasizing the importance of communication skills, emphasizing the importance of learning different defined data and statistics in a role versus
Mm.
leading them. It feels like a very good narrative to me. I'm pretty sure the audience would feel the same way. And before we wrap up, do you have
Cool.
any parting thoughts, Lewis, that you would want to share with us?
No, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I think it's great for you. Like, you're getting so many different insights from so many different places. I think that's awesome. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm not limiting myself to only testing, but
Mm.
the way I am receiving, requests and love and support from testers all over the world,
Hmm.
like yourself, I feel so honored and humble. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're a diverse range of people. It's a really cool set of community that we have.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's keep looking after each other is the least we can
Definitely.
do.
Definitely. Cool. Thank you so much.
So much. Thank you so much. Keep rocking. Bye.